Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant verses 11 to 15 of chapter 3. Devan bhavayatanena,
Devan bhavayatanena,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
Taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
Taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
Yo bhungte stena eva saha,
Yo bhungte stena eva saha,
Yajna shishtashinah santaha,
Yajna shishtashinah santaha,
Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi,
Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi,
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
Ye pachantyatmakaranat,
Ye pachantyatmakaranat,
Annad bhavanti bhutani,
Annad bhavanti bhutani,
Parjanyadanna sambhavaha,
Parjanyadanna sambhavaha,
Yajnat bhavati parjanyaha,
यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः
यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the previous session, we have just entered verse number 11, wherein he is continuing the flow of thought from verse 10. In verse 10, he strongly said, may you flourish with this, may you propagate, may you blossom, may you grow. Prasavishyadhvam. Let this be the wish-fulfilling cow of all your icha, desires arising out of will. Ishta kama dukh. So he concluded in verse number 10 in that way, and then from there he is just continuing here. So what is he saying here? May you nourish the gods by this. Devan bhavayata anena. Te deva bhavayantu vaha. May the gods nourish you. Parasparam bhavayantaha means nourishing each other. What will be the result? What will be the benefit? Shreyaha paramavapsyata. You shall obtain the highest good. Param Shreyaha. Shreyaha means that which is good. Param Shreyaha means highest good. There is a reason why he is saying Param Shreyaha. We'll see that as we go along. So, what is interesting is, I explained to you last week where in verse number 9, when he introduced this principle of yajna, he said tadartham, tat artham. Tat means that. So that means something which is far away from you. And then in verse number 10, he used the word anena and esha. Two words he used. Anena means by this. Ayam is the word which is this, and this is a declension form of that word. And then esha. We saw two words. This means something which is near to you. So this wisdom which is far away from you, when you are at the level of mere intellectual understanding and appreciation, starts becoming a part of you, very near you, as you do sadhana and you internalize it. This I did explain last week. That process of internalizing the external knowledge is called Jnana Yoga. See, you can look at Jnana Yoga from different angles, whether it's Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Any principle can be viewed from infinite dimensions. So as and when the context comes, I am giving you another angle to it, which will help you intensify your wisdom and get further established in the higher principles. So Jnana Yoga does not mean mere study of the scriptures. Study of scriptures is only a start. You may know thousands of things, but what are you able to implement without effort? Without effort means in an effortless way. See, whenever you do something in an effortless way, it means it has become a part of you. When you have to put an effort to practice something, you are in the process of internalizing it. When you are at the level of mere knowledge, that is information, gaining information and appreciation, that principle which that particular piece of knowledge is trying to convey is very far away from you. So when you gain the knowledge of the scriptures, that is at the intellectual level, information. But when you digest it, when you internalize it and make it a part of your own, then that becomes wisdom. So this process is called Jnana Yoga. Now, as you are internalizing it, when you start applying it in the world, that process is called Karma Yoga. Now, when you are gaining this knowledge, when you are internalizing it, and when you are practicing it, the bhavana which you have, the feeling of surrender and gratitude, the feeling of devotion with which you gain, that is the practice of Bhakti Yoga. Now, why I am mentioning that here is because we are doing this third chapter, Karma Yoga. Later on, we'll be seeing other chapters. So, Jnana Yoga will be dealt with in one of the chapters, 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga will be dealt with. But when you are actually living your life and when you're doing your sadhana, these sadhanas are not separate from each other. You will have to practice all of them together. Mere knowledge without any bhakti will make it very dry. Mere devotion without any knowledge or understanding will turn into fanaticism. Okay, you're gaining a lot of knowledge, excellent bhavana is there, but you're not putting it into practice at all. Then what is the use? So these three have to coexist. Because you have the physical body, and with the physical body you're acting. So Karma Yoga becomes essential. You have your emotions. So purification of emotions, Bhakti Yoga is essential. You have your intellect, thinking. Therefore, Jnana Yoga becomes essential. Nobody has only the body or only emotions, only intellect. It's not possible that way. So, when we are doing Karma Yoga, the emphasis will be on the practical application. When we are looking at the principles of Jnana Yoga, the emphasis will be on this process of internalizing. And when we are doing Bhakti Yoga, the emphasis will be on purification of emotions. But that doesn't mean the other sadhanas are not there, the other aspects. So you will have to look at the sadhana as a whole, not part by part. Because your personality, even though different parts exist, they don't function independently. Just imagine your body is at one place, your mind also has to be centered there. The mind may look out, the mind may run here and there, but the basic centering has to be in the body only. Similarly, your intellect also. So they cannot function separately from each other. So you are a composite personality and you function as a whole. So the sadhana also has different aspects based on the different aspects of your personality. So each part of the sadhana is to cater to that particular aspect of the personality. But just as your personality exists together, all these parts exist together as a whole, similarly, the sadhana also has to be done in a holistic way. WHOLISTIC. Holistic, in that sense. So don't compartmentalize yourself, saying that I am a bhakta, I am a jnani, I am a karma yogi. According to the context, you should keep changing. When it is time for doing Hatha Yoga, you should do Hatha Yoga. When it is, when the situation demands Bhakti Yoga, that should be practiced. And similarly, Jnana Yoga, similarly, Karma Yoga. The whole sadhana is very dynamic. The Yoga Sankirtan meditation is the base because it gives you that energy. It infuses you with that divine energy and it adds value to the Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga which you will be practicing. So, even though the emphasis is on Karma Yoga, we can see the reference in an indirect reference to internalization of this knowledge, which is actually Jnana Yoga. And what is interesting is, in verse number 9, he used the word tat. Then 10, he used the word this twice, two different words. And now again he is continuing here. Devan bhavayata anena. May you nourish the gods by this. So, why is he extending this word this is because the process of internalization should never stop. It should go on and on. See, when you gain knowledge from an external source, that itself requires a lot of open-mindedness, the capacity to listen without bringing in your preconceived notions. So because today people are not having that capacity to listen. Before another person completes, the other person starts his or her point. Especially we can see this happening all the time in debates, in interviews, where people don't have the patience to first listen to the other person. So that itself has become very difficult today in Kali Yuga. But when you take the Jnana Yoga as a whole, That is relatively easy. To gain external knowledge is the first basic step. It's so simple. But in Kali Yuga, that itself has become very difficult. Because the self-centeredness has increased so much. You're so preoccupied with your interests, with your emotions, with your thoughts, that you're not able to accommodate the views of others. Once you get into a belief system, thereafter, you're unable to give give your ears to any other fresh idea. You become kind of close-minded. So first is you'll have to develop that quality, the ability to gain external knowledge. Now once that is there, then this is applicable. Thereafter you should not be tamasically content. I know, I understand this. No, you will have to do the sadhana and internalize it. When can you say you have 100% internalized a principle? When you are able to live that principle without any conscious effort. See, the moment you are putting in effort means there is an opposite force acting. So you require the effort to counteract it. When there is no opposite force, then this principle becomes a part of your nature. It will start manifesting or expressing on its own, naturally. That means you have got established in it. You have got established 100%. Then you move to the next principle. It's not that you master 100 and then move. I'm just dramatically putting it in a sequence so that it's easy to understand. So till all these principles become a part of your nature, which means you become a living embodiment of this wisdom, you should not leave this process of internalization. That is why he started off in the previous verse by saying this, and he's continuing here. May you nourish the gods by this. Means it's a continuous process. Learning means of two types. One is external learning and other is internalizing. Now this is a continuous process. Nitya Shishya, be an eternal Shishya, said Bhagavan Dattatreya. This is the meaning. Shishya means one who is constantly learning. The Guru Shakti is always guiding. Now when we are constantly learning, one is to get the information and the other is to internalize it. This process is practiced by a sadhak on a continuous basis. So a sadhak is one who is ever growing. See, prasavishyadvam is not a one-time thing. Yeah, sir, I studied and I have now internalized, that's it. Thank you very much. No. Ever growing, because the infinite has no end. The more wisdom you gain, the more wisdom is there to be gained. That is why Bhagavan Dattatreya, even though being a great avatar, the three forces of Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara combined together to form Dattatreya. Imagine what amount of power he should have had. Now, that such a great avatar, he said, I am only a learner. I can only, when a king asked him, the king was passing by and when he saw Dattatreya, he was overawed by his tejas, spiritual brilliance, When he looked into the eyes of Dattatreya, he was stunned because this king had a lot of name, fame, power, position, everything. But all that became nothing in front of the spiritual power of Bhagavan Dattatreya. So he went to him and said, I want you to teach me. He asked him a few questions. How is it that you're having so much of tejas? To which Bhagavan Dattatreya said, I don't know what you're talking about. I am not a guru or anything. I have only been learning. So the king understood that this was a great, great soul. And he's just being naturally humble. He's not even putting an effort to be humble. So he bowed down and said, okay, can you please teach me? Then Dattatreya said, I am nobody to teach you, but I can share with you whatever I've learnt. And he started giving out the principles. Now, what is the significance of that? That learning is a continuous process. This process of gaining knowledge and then internalizing it, getting established in it, till it becomes a part of you. So when it becomes a part of you, it means that will start defining you. Today, unfortunately, you are internalizing all negative things. See, a man came to me and he showed me a file. He said, sir, this is my file. I said, this is your file means? What does it mean? He said, everything about me is there. I just want you to have a look at it. I opened it. It was about his health, medical file. But he didn't consider it as one aspect. He said, this is everything about me is there. See how much he has internalized it. And when I opened it in the first page, so Mr. So-and-so, his name was written, and has been a well-known diabetic for so many years. It is written there. And once I read it and I looked at him, he is smiling and he started nodding like this, And one by one, he is a diabetic, he has got pressure, everything now has become that person. To such an extent where he says, this is the file, it tells everything about me. As if there is nothing else about him. So much these things have been internalized. He considers himself not even by his name or by other things. He considers himself as a diabetic, as a person who has blood pressure, whatever the various issues were. Whereas actually these things have been acquired. That too by the physical body. There was a time when that was not there. Yet, through the process of association, you tend to internalize these things, various negative ideas. Somebody comes and gives you a negative thought. You immediately keep churning it within your mind and you internalize it. Then slowly it becomes a part of you. It creates an energy field, what we call as aura, energy field. So today, if you were to look within, you will find that you have internalized so many negative factors without your knowledge. It was not a conscious effort because your mind is not under your control. You have internalized so many negative factors. And I'm only giving you here and there 2-3 examples. But like this, we are talking of thousands and thousands, lakhs and lakhs of experiences which you have internalized. And that has become a part of you. See, once a person puts a negative thought in you and you internalize it, thereafter, effortlessly, without any control, that negative thought will start manifesting from within. You don't need to put any special effort to maintain it. That is what I mean by becoming a part of you. Means becoming you, actually. So that is what had happened to this man. He had come to me, he said, I have so many issues. I require your guidance, sir, how to heal myself. Can you give some healing and also teach me how to heal myself? I said the first thing is, as long as you identify with these diseases, you are never going to heal yourself because you feel that is what is you. So if you remove these diseases, it amounts to suicide as far as you're concerned. It's like you're killing a part of you. So your own mind will resist that. When that struck him, it was a big moment of wisdom for him. The self-healing started from that moment. I told him, with the right understanding, if you do sadhana for a while, there is a good chance that the health will get restored. But if you don't understand this principle and you just mechanically do the sadhana, the healing will not happen. Healing will happen, but it will be countered by these negative forces all the time. So, continuing that word anena into this verse number 11 is very significant. Means your growth, your sadhana should be a continuous one. The infinite has no end. In the yogic circles, there is a beautiful principle where many yogis say that Shiva is meditating on Narayana, and Narayana is in a state of Vishnu Yoga Nidra, which is a deep state of meditation. He is in a state of meditation. He meditates on Shiva, a higher Shiva, and that higher Shiva is meditating on higher Narayana. This is an infinite cycle, they say. Now, when we say higher, lower, actually it doesn't mean anything to all of us, because just this, the moment we say Narayana or Shiva, whether it's higher or low, all these things, it doesn't matter. That energy, whatever you can conceive, that energy itself is very difficult to absorb it fully. Now, here they are talking of a continuous process. Because many people have this question. If Lord Shiva is an embodiment of that infinite, why should he be in a state of meditation? If Lord Vishnu is an embodiment of that infinite, why should he be in a state of meditation, Vishnu Yoga Nidra? It's not Nidra. Nidra means sleep. Yoga Nidra means, that's what we've seen, no? And that Sri Haridhyana is based on that powerful meditative principle of Vishnu Yoga Nidra. So why should he be doing that? This is again symbolic. This gives you a message. That's what we need to take. The message is, never ever stop your sadhana. Never ever stop this process of internalizing. Go on internalizing the positive. First, you start off with positive qualities, relative knowledge, which we'll be seeing in this verse. And then you come to the absolute energy, which is what he calls as Param Shreya, the highest good, absolute good. That also has to be internalized. This process is forever. Because you may ask, for how long, sir? The moment you ask for how long, it means you're seeing it as a drudgery. But actually, once you get into that process is so enjoyable, I tell you, that you will never want to leave it. Just as a bee which goes into the flower and starts tasting the honey, now it never wants to come out. Supposing the flower closes, the bee also will die inside the flower because its focus is on tasting the honey. Similarly, as a sadhak, once you start tasting this internal sadhana, the subtle sadhana, the process of internalizing everything. Thereafter, you will become like that bee who has started tasting that honey. When you look at a flower, one is the look. From a distance you can appreciate it. Then you can go near it and smell it. But then, like a bee, when you go deep within, that is when true wisdom comes. So these principles from a distance you can appreciate. Once in a while, some people attend these sessions. It's very nice, they say. Some people attend regularly, but they just, like smelling the flower. Oh, this principle is inspiring, that is inspiring. They can inspire. But then you should move to the third category, which is like the bee, which goes deep inside the flower and gets the honey. This example actually we saw in the Gita Dhyanam. Before chapter 1, we did that Gita Dhyanam or the Dhyana slokas, So, of course, there were, I think, totally about 9 slokas or something, but we studied it for months together, went into that depth. In that, we saw that example, yogis are like the bees who go deep into this wisdom and they make this wisdom a part of themselves. So that should be your focus. So anena again. Devan bhavayata. May you nourish the gods by this, by the principle of yajna. So when we were seeing the previous few verses, there was this principle or this point which was given to you. Not only in the previous few verses, every now and then this is being told to you that your ultimate purpose is self-realization or God-realization. Here also he is talking about it as Param Shreya, the highest good. The second chapter he talked of getting to the state of Sthita Prajna, being completely established in that infinite wisdom. So that is the very goal, the ultimate goal of human birth. Why have you been born? Have you ever asked yourself? We are not talking about the immediate cause. I'm talking of the purpose of your birth. When you start going deep within, then only you'll be able to understand what they are saying. Your very purpose of taking this human birth is to become one with the infinite. So that state is called a state of God realization or self-realization. You can use any word you want, but it is the principle that matters. Enlightenment, nirvana shatkam, that Yoga Sankirtan material is there, no? Nirvana shatkam means 6 verses to nirvana, liberation. Moksha also means liberation. Many words you can use. They all refer to one and the same thing. The ultimate goal of human existence. Now, there are many sadhaks who get this question in mind. Here and there, I am inspired by this highest purpose of life, by this ultimate purpose. But beyond a point, I am not able to conceive this. I am not inspired enough to act on it. But I want to do sadhana, I want to, grow spiritually. I have all those good desires. But the principle of self-realization, the goal of self-realization seems too high. I'm not able to relate to that goal on a day-to-day basis. Once in a while, sir, when you are mentioning that immediately inspires. But I'm not able to carry forward that inspiration to my experiences. The moment I go into the world and I start functioning, I forget about self-realization. And I just merely get involved in whatever experience I'm going through. So what should I do? This is a question which comes to every sadhak's mind. I'm sure you would have also had that question. Actually, several people have sent the same question in different ways. I have not answered them, those questions. They all mean the same thing, because that answer is being covered in this verse number 11, where he is talking about Devaha. Devaha means a divine being. Now, what is very interesting is many different kinds of beings have been described in our Shastras. The human birth, among all the different beings, the human birth is considered to be the most valuable or precious one. Now, what are the different kinds of beings? And we are not going to get into that exhaustive list. Like, for example, they say Asuras are one kind of beings. Asuras mean demons. Then they say Rakshasas are one kind of beings. Rajasic, negative people. That is extreme Rajas. Then human beings, Manushya. And then the Yakshas have been given, Kinnaras have been given, Gandharvas. Gandharvas are those artistic beings who are very good in playing instruments, classical music and all that. Like this, different types of beings have been described. Devaha. Devaha means those gods, divine beings. Now, the most interesting part which has also been given is that of all these beings, a human being. See, we are not taking into consideration in this context that list is, as I told you, is exhaustive. You have various animals, you have various birds. They say some 86 lakhs, 84 or 86 lakhs of beings are there. So we will not go into that part, So some main categories we can take, like what I told you. Out of all these, what they say is a human being has the capacity to function like any of these beings. See, if you take an asura can be only an asura. If you take a Rakshasa, he can be only a Rakshasa. Rakshasa or Rakshashi. Rakshashi means a lady. Rakshasa means a male. Similarly, if you take a Yaksha, he can be only a Yaksha. Now, when you take a human being, the human being is said to have infinite powers. That is why constantly it is being told to you, you have infinite powers within you. Infinite powers both ways, negative and positive. So it is a great boon to be born as a human being, but if you misuse it, the same boon can become a curse also. It can become dangerous also. A human being can devolve and deteriorate himself or herself to the level of an asura, or a human being through sadhana can keep on growing and elevate himself or herself to the level of a god. That is why the human birth is considered to be the most precious birth. See, I am telling you this before we go into the deeper meaning of Devaha. I am telling you this so that you understand the value of your birth first. You are not an ordinary person. Being in the form of a human being, your consciousness can go to this extreme or it can go to that extreme. When it goes beyond this realm, that is the realm of the infinite, which he is calling as Param Shreya. These are all different dimensional existences. So as you go through, when I say you here, I mean consciousness. As your consciousness evolves or devolves, you go through the various dimensional experiences, which in Sanskritam is called lokas. Lokaha. Lokaha means dimension, world or dimension. Actually, dimension is a better word because it gives a deeper meaning. So sitting wherever you are, let us say you start entertaining very, very wicked thoughts of harming others. Then even though you are having the human body, consciousness wise, you will get connected to the dimensions of asuras, asura loka. I am giving you the yogic significance of what is given in our Puranas. The whole thing is within you only. You don't need to go in search of God anywhere outside. That supreme power is there within you. But first, different lokas or dimensions can be experienced in this human body. Only in this human body. Now, sitting here, if you generate such wicked thoughts, you will get connected to the asura loka. Then you will start emitting that energy. Similarly, with this body and wherever you are, you can start emitting the energy of a Rakshasa or a Rakshashi. You can become very, very artistic and you can start emitting the energy of a Gandharva, which is actually a positive thing as long as it's under your control. According to the level of your consciousness, you will get connected to that loka and you will start experiencing that in your life. Now, beyond all these lokas, beyond all these limited dimensional existences, is that supreme dimension, what we call as the infinite dimension. He calls it as Param Shreya. So all these dimensions have been divided into 14 broad classifications by our masters. They say 14 lokas. But actually it is not merely 14. It gets subdivided into many. So there is one dimension called Siddhaloka. So when your third eye gets activated, then you get connected to the Siddhaloka, you start emitting that energy, absorbing and emitting that energy. That is the true sadhana of Guru Purnima. We did that deep sadhana of Guru Purnima. No? During the Guru Purnima time, the Siddhaloka, that is the energy from the Siddhaloka or the Guru dimension, is fully available to us. Whether we make use of it or not, that is a different matter. But it's fully available, very conducive. So an advanced yogi, he can do this internal travel and go to any dimension he wants. The most interesting part is, in our Shastras, they have mentioned everything as a loka. There is a Surya as their sun, Surya Loka. Chandra is there, Chandra Loka. Kubera, the most wealthiest person, has a lot of wealth. Kubera Loka. Like this, everything was called a Loka. Deva Loka means that's where the relative gods, they reside. I have already said relative gods, that's what we'll be seeing, the various applications. Because of all that, he is referring to Deva. There is a reason behind it. Similarly, Gandharvas, where are they staying? Gandharva Loka, Yaksha Loka. Like this, they've always used the word Loka. So, as a sadhak in the path of spirituality, you should become familiar with this principle of Loka, because when you do your inner travel, you will be passing these various states of consciousness. The asuras, the asuric consciousness is also there within you. The rakshasic consciousness is also there within you. The deva, the consciousness of devas are also there within you. Everything is there within you. Depending on what kind of sadhana you do, you activate and you get connected to all these forces. I've been repeatedly saying, the Mahabharata war is actually a depiction of the inner war. The Kauravas are there within you. The Pandavas are also there within you. And beyond the Kauravas and Pandavas, Lord Krishna, who represents that infinite, he is also there within you. That infinite consciousness is also there within you. So our aim, the aim of sadhana, is to defeat the negative forces within us. That's this battle, no? To uplift our consciousness from these lower levels and increase the positive aspects, increase the divine aspects, the devas within us, and finally go beyond all that to that state of param shreya, the absolute good. So when he says, may you nourish the gods by this, it is a very deep sadhana process he is giving. So we will come to that, but first of all, when a person asks this question, sir, I am not able to relate to this highest goal of self-realization or God-realization. Now what should I do? They say, don't worry. That is where this principle of devas, devaha means in plural, they have introduced. Who is the highest God? That is Param Shreya, the Supreme Brahman, formless reality. But if you are straight away not able to relate to that, there is no problem. Then start nourishing the devas. Devas means divine beings. Divine beings in different grades. For example, if you take the devas who are living in the Devaloka, they are also divine but partially divine. You can't equate them with the supreme gods like Mahavishnu, Mahashiva, Muruga, Ganesha, Shakti, Parvati, Lakshmi. We can't equate them to the supreme gods who are direct manifestations of the infinites, of the infinite. So among devas, gods, there are different grades. Means as you start becoming more and more divine, you start growing in terms of the spiritual stature. That is, the divinity within you is being tapped. So that is why Devaha in plural is very significant. When you talk of just one God, that is the supreme formless reality. In the Vedas, that is referred to as Brahman, not Lord Brahma. The Brahman is refers to the supreme formless reality, neither male nor female. It is said, no, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithyam. Brahman alone is Satyam, that alone exists. Jagat Mithyam, whatever world which we are experiencing is Mithya, is an illusion. It's a very deep wisdom was given by our yogis, our rishis. It is only when you do sadhana and go into the depth of meditation that you can see the truth of that statement, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithyam. So the Supreme Brahman is the God of all gods. What he is referring to as Param Shreya. Beautiful coinage there, Shreya means that which is good. Param means nothing higher than that. Supreme most of all gods. But lower to that are all the various gods. So many gods are there. Now what do these gods represent? Different grades of divinity. So if you are not able to relate to the highest goal straight away, then what are these great yogis asking you to do? You say, I am not able to focus on that formless reality. No problem. May you nourish the gods. Means Devaha. Now use the plural. Start having relative goals of self-development and self-purification. Later on, in the next chapter, he will actually be giving this. He will say, let Atma Shuddhi be your goal. If self-realization or God-realization, mukti, is very difficult for you to conceive, no problem. Keep self-purification as your goal, he says. Self-purification or Atma Vritti means the self-development. These are all relative goals. Within the self-purification and self-development, you can fix various goals. Let me start becoming better and better. Let me start gaining more control over my mind. That's why various grades of devas, various grades of gods. As you progress in the spiritual path, you will become better and better. So even though you may have this physical body of Manushya, that is of a human being, your consciousness can keep growing, can keep expanding, and you can get yourself attached to the vibrations of the divine. And day by day, when you keep doing the sadhana, the divinity within you will start increasing. Divinity within you will start increasing doesn't mean actually the divinity is increasing, because divinity is infinite. It can neither increase nor decrease. Your connection to it will start increasing. That's what it means. It means you are nourishing the devas, the divine beings within you. In that process, you are becoming more and more divine. Now, what is the end of this? When you keep on making yourself divine, The end of all this is you will reach the state which is beyond all gods, the God of all gods, the supreme power who is behind this entire existence, lokas. That is Param Shreya. That is the state of infinite, the infinite supreme reality. What in the Vedas they call that as Brahman. Different masters called that by different names. In Christianity, they said the Supreme Father in heaven. If you take Vaishnavism, they called that supreme state as Narayana, beyond the form of Narayana. See, whatever form has been described is a manifestation of the real Narayana. Real Narayana has no form. That power or form cannot be fathomed at all. In Shaivism, they call that supreme reality as Shiva, Mahashiva, Mahavishnu, Mahashiva, Mahaganapati, Adi Shakti. Adi Shakti means that supreme Shakti, that supreme goddess, beyond all the gods and goddesses, means beyond all relative concepts. The highest state is there. So in different religions they called it in different ways. Buddha, he talked about that state of nothingness. In Jainism, Mahavira called it as a state of nirvana. The words may be different, but they are all referring to that one formless reality alone. So different masters called it by different names. Nama Anek. Nama Aneka means names are numerous. Sabka Malik Ek. And one supreme power is that infinite being, Param Shreya. Now, if you're straight away inspired by that and if you're able to practicalize it, it means you're at a very advanced level. But if not, then what should you do? May you nourish the gods by this. Means keep relative goals. If the absolute goal is not pulling you to action, no problem. Fix relative goals. What are the relative goals? The relative goals of self-purification and self-development. Atma Shuddhi, Atma Vritti. All these can be your goals. And then you can go into further specifics. According to what areas you want to attend to within yourself, depending on what are your strengths, what are the areas where you need to work on, the weaknesses. You can keep various relative goals and keep on bettering yourself day by day. So if self-realization is not pulling you to do sadhana, definitely becoming a better person, Atma Shuddhi should pull you, self-development should pull you, bringing out the powers from within you, that should inspire you. You can start doing your sadhana. And when you start doing your sadhana, you will start growing, which means the divinity within you will start increasing, and a time would come where you will understand that all these are only limited gods. All the powers which you gain, they are all limited. Small powers, we can say. But then what is that supreme power? the God beyond all gods. What is that supreme state? So your focus will start going on that. It means you've reached a very advanced level. An advanced yogi, 24/7, his mind is always pegged to that infinite, which is what in chapter 9, Lord Krishna says, Ananyas chintayanto mam, which means just focus on me. Me means that infinite. Just focus on that supreme power. Ananya, no other chinta, no other thought. That's a very, very powerful state. But you cannot straightaway do that. That is why our great yogis talked about different gods. Of course, there's a lot more to this, the principle of Devaha. As we go into this verse, many other things also will be expounded. But first of all, you understand the total message of this verse. That is, when you read the whole verse together, this is the key message. Number one is Param Shreya, the highest goal. As a human being, you have the capacity to achieve that. You have the capacity to bring out the infinite powers from within. Now, if you are unable to relate to that, no problem. Start fixing relative goals of Atma Shuddhi and Atma Vritti, self-development, self-purification. Day by day, become a better version of yourself. Such a person is called a sadhak. A sadhak is one who always tries to master himself or herself. So every day, are you improving? What was I yesterday and what am I today? If you're doing your sadhana properly, if you're attending these sessions every week and then doing your daily sadhana, and then if you look back, 1 year back, what was I? After 1 year, what am I today? There will be a distinct difference. In a positive way, there should be a difference. Many negative forces within you will not be there anymore. One lady, a sadhak, she has sent a beautiful mail. She said, I started getting into this 3 years back, during that COVID time, or 4-5 years back, she started getting into this. She said, after that I've been doing my sadhana diligently. Now when I look back, so many things which used to bother me, which used to cause so much of stress within me, are no longer bothering me. They are all there. Those factors are there in the world, but they are not disturbing me anymore because I have become more focused. I have my goal set. I am living my life very clearly. God is there, Guru is there, the Guru Shakti is giving, is giving that highest guidance, and the Yoga Sankirtan materials are there, sadhana materials, various empowerment materials are there. So focused, I'm so busy doing this, that those small things. Now I'm saying small things, but when they were disturbing me, they were very big disturbances. This is what will happen to any sadhak. Now, this is a message to the sadhak who has sent me the mail and also to others. When you get these benefits, don't stop your sadhana, because they are all devaha, relative benefits only. Different grades of divinity. Keep on doing your sadhana. More and more higher experiences will be opened unto you. And when you go to that highest level, then the door to that infinite state will be opened. whether you want to call it as Kailasha, whether you want to call it as Vaikunta, that is immaterial. Some people have a lot of argument there. Is it Vaikunta or is it Kailasha? Who is superior, Shiva or Vishnu? Or what is your level? See, first you should analyze that, no? Are we in a position to see who is superior and all that? It's all a waste of time, waste of energy. Focus all your energy on sadhana. The key thing here is sadhana. Through the process of sadhana, start growing spiritually. Fix relative goals, and as you keep achieving them, that will inspire you to achieve more. Keep on at it. And what will happen? Finally, it says, you shall obtain Param Shreya, the highest. So this is beautifully depicted in the Ramayana. The separation between Rama and Sita is the separation between you and the Paramatma. Rama is the Paramatma, Sita is the individual. Now, when Sita was kidnapped by Ravana, Ravana had 10 heads. 10 heads represents the 10 sense organs. You become a captive of Ravana. I am not going through the full significance now because that is quite long, only whatever is applicable here. Now, when Sita was in Lanka, she refused to indulge with Ravana. She kept her tapas going. So she was in a state of Ashoka. That's why it's called Ashokavana. Now, that's very significant from a sadhana point of view, And when she was continuously contemplating on Rama, what happened was that Hanuman came and he gave her that ring. And when Sita saw that ring, that was a confirmation. And Hanuman scorched the entire Lanka. He didn't burn it off fully, he just scorched Lanka and he went. These are all again very significant. When you keep doing your sadhana, you will get that confirmation as you achieve your relative goals, milestones. That confidence will grow within you. Just as Sita, when she saw the ring, then thereafter there was no doubt whether Rama will come or not. Supreme confidence. So as you keep growing in spirituality, you will attain various states. Your consciousness will experience various higher states, divine states. And those are the divine experiences which is represented by that ring, which will give you that confidence. Even before the highest experience, your confidence will keep on growing. And Hanuman scorching Lanka is very symbolic. A stage will come in your sadhana where the sense objects will no longer bother you. Means you will become a master of your senses. That is represented by Ravana and his world. If we get into the Ramayana, so many messages are there. It is simply amazing. And what is very interesting is, the Sita who was kidnapped by Ravana was not the original Sita. She was the Maya Sita. The reference is given in another scripture, Before Sita was kidnapped, it was known that this is going to happen. So the incident is that Sita was taken by Agni Deva, and the Maya Sita was created. That is, the Maya Sita was the person whom Ravana kidnapped. So when Rama came back and defeated Ravana, now he cannot accept this Sita because he knew she was Maya Sita. But what happened was that even though it was Maya means illusion, illusory Sita we can say. So just because she was constantly thinking of Rama for so many days, she got very attached to Rama. So how to remove that attachment? So Rama was very rude to her, acted rude to her as if he was angry. He said, how can I accept you? People are asking, to prove your purity. That was an instigation so that she will enter the fire. So when she entered the fire, what happened? She disappeared and the real Sita appeared, Agni Deva, from the fire. It's a very interesting episode, means complete purification. Without understanding this part of the story, actually most people don't know all this. There's a lot of criticism. Why did Rama ask Sita to enter? First of all, Rama never asked. It was Sita herself who said, I will enter the fire. But there is a significance behind it because the Maya Sita has to go and the real Sita has to come. Only then Sita Rama can unite. So in the Valmiki Ramayana, all these have not been covered. Only certain portions that to the human touch of Rama with what they call as Kalyana Gunas. Kalyana Gunas means wonderful qualities have been given. But as I told you, there is this Rama called Adhyatma Ramayana, written by Vyasa. In that, many other aspects are covered. Similarly, why was Sita sent to the forest? There is a incident behind that. In some other context, I will cover that also. Because many people criticize that, no? It was to nullify certain karmas. It is all mentioned. So a complete purification can happen if you simply follow this method. Atma Shuddhi should be your goal. And when you go on purifying yourself, what will happen? You will reach that state of Param Shreya, supreme good. So we'll stop with that here. A lot of material has been given to you today for you to think and internalize. So that is going to be your sadhana. The Yoga Sankirtan every day will help you to internalize. It will provide you with the energy, with the fuel. But then your sadhana should not be restricted to that. You need to internalize all these principles. So just pick up one or two which inspire you. For example, Atma Shuddhi, self-purification or self-development. If that is inspiring you, then start writing down your relative goals. Find out what your weaknesses are. Supposing you are very short-tempered. Now that is an area where I need to purify myself. If you are talking in a very rude way to others all the time, now that can become your goal. To overcome that, to talk in a polite way. Because when you are trying to do that, it is not mere talking. Your personality itself will change. Similarly, if you are very lazy, becoming dynamic can be your goal. So start fixing relative goals. That is the homework which is being given to you. So look into your life and start fixing meaningful relative goals which are a little higher than whatever level you are in today. It means you are now looking at gods in plural, relative goals. First, Devaha represent relative goals. And the God of all gods, the Param Shreyaha, represents the absolute goal. Okay, so we will now do the Nididhyasana meditation. I want you to think about this, do that homework and come back next week, because as we unravel more and more messages from this verse, they will all start helping you in your sadhana. So at every step, a break is given so that you can practice a little bit, do your homework and come back. Then you will be in a better position to absorb the further messages which we'll be giving. So first, Devaha means relative goals. Now what else? Devaha, the concept of gods, what they represent, various dimensions, all that we'll see in the future. Okay? So now we'll do meditation. Sit in a comfortable position with spinal cord erect. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. beyond this physical body, beyond this mind, beyond this intellect, lies that infinite, supreme Brahman, my ultimate purpose in life is to become one with the infinite. From this moment onwards, I choose to fix relative goals of self-purification, which will ultimately lead me to that state of God realization. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So, in today's session, many tips have been given, tips to better your sadhana, to get a direction in your life. See, when you fix these relative goals, what will happen is you will start getting a direction in your life. It is very important to have a direction, that too pointing towards the higher. So think about all these points and internalize them. At every opportunity, start practicing them. The quality of your life will start improving on a daily basis if you practice this. Okay? So, in the coming sessions, we will see what are the various sadhana messages which are embedded in this verse, further messages. It will be very interesting and also life transforming. Okay? So, thank you very much. Hari Om.